Okay, in this video I'm going to show you a connection here. So this is our production function, right? And so we said that generally the production functions will look something like this. This is our production function, which is labor and quantity together. And that's because this is, again, our specialization gain. So each worker adds more and more. That's why it's getting steeper and steeper. So steeper and steeper. Each worker adds more. That's what it means by getting steeper and steeper. And then eventually we run into diminishing marginal product of labor. Okay, it's getting flatter. Each adds less and less. That's what that means. Okay, less and less production. Okay, so that's typical, and we kind of went through the idea of that. Again, at first, you can specialize a little bit. They can help each other, and they can do the jobs they can break up the tasks in a way that's efficient. But eventually, there's too many of them compared to the capital you have available, and then their production starts to fall. Okay, so then that leads us to the shape of our typical cost function, and we'll go through a numerical example of this in a second. But I just want to walk through something with you quickly. This leads our cost function to tend to look like this. So this is cost, and on cost, it's not labor down here, it's quantity. Okay, how much do we produce? So what happens is, well, first of all, we start somewhere here, right? And that's because even when our quantity is 0, we still have some costs, right? This is because of fixed costs, those costs that don't vary. So if you want to open a restaurant, even if no one comes to buy your pizza, you still have to pay the rent. So you still have to have the machines, otherwise you just don't have a restaurant. So again, we have some starting point of our cost that even if we don't produce anything, we have a cost. And then what happens is, and then when we produce more, our costs obviously are going to rise. But at first, they're going to rise more slowly, and that's being caused by this specialization gain. So you add workers, and each worker adds more and more production. And so the workers are costing the same, but each one's producing more than the one before them. So then we get our costs are going to be kind of getting less and less additional cost per quantity. And then eventually we hit into this diminishing returns part, and that in our cost function leads our cost to start rising quickly. And so what happens here is our diminishing marginal product of labor causes our cost to rise, causes costs rise quickly, right? Because each worker is making less and less additional units, but the workers are costing the same, right? So then your cost will just start to rise quite quickly. So in a little bit, I will go through a numerical example to show how this happens, and then to show the way that we're going to think about it.